everybody, today I am bringing you this layout that uses ephemera from one of my nephew's weddings. And one of the pieces there is that green piece of paper that kind of gave the list of events for the evening. And it is like a sort of a minty colored green, not a color we typically find in scrapbook supplies. So I'm playing with some papers here to try to decide what to do. I did like that floral because it was something a little bit different. This one is a circle green paper and I like that, but I wanted to almost neutralize this paper a little bit. I'm going back here and I'm looking at the cardstock. I'm just having a really hard time deciding. And there we go. Now I have decided that piece of paper there comes from Paige Evans' Turn the Page collection from Pink Paisley, and it's paper number 16. So that's the background paper there. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to cut the piece of paper that I'm going to mat on top of that, and that's the heart paper from Dear Lizzie Stargazer. The paper's name is Blissful, and it's just a really beautiful wood grain with little hearts. I loved the paper so much that I was so glad I was able to feature it, at least in part, as a whole sheet, or basically pretty close to a whole sheet there. And I just love how kind of neutral it is, but there's still something interesting going on in the paper with that little heart, printed heart on it. And I think I didn't quite get it cut properly, so I'm just kind of playing around with that a little bit. And now I've got it cut properly. All right, so I can go ahead and put that down. And you see how gorgeous that wood grain is with the hearts. I could get tons of those sheets of paper. Actually, I should look and see if there's still any more left the next time I place an order. So now I'm going to play around with ephemera here. So I said there's that little green sheet. There's a napkin. There's a beverage ticket that actually I ended up not using. There's my place card from my table, and then there's a little bag there that held some almonds, and that's explained actually about why that's important. It's a tradition from the Greek Orthodox, or Greeks I should say, that not Greeks, Albanians, that my new niece her family is a part of. So anyway, that's why that little bag was important. So I wanted to still mount this on something, and I decided a doily would be a really cute way to do that. It gives it a background and something lacy and wedding-like without it being another piece of paper, just another piece of paper. So once I do that, it really kind of helps bring things together for me, although I am going to fuss around with this quite a bit. And you'll see me kind of doing that, trying to decide how I want my layout mounted. Do I want it more to the left or to the right? I'm going to put it more to the left. The reason being that I just wanted to emphasize that green piece of paper is the largest piece of paper on this layout, and I really just wanted to kind of emphasize that. So the doily is from Wilton, and it's a 10-inch doily. I buy those often at, I think, either Joann's or Michael's. I think it's Michael's though, but it's one or the other, just so you know. But you can get those in lots of other places. I like the weight of the Wilton doilies, which is why I try to buy those when I can. And I think it's nice because they're not quite as expensive as some of the scrapbooking doilies. And I think the weight is better, actually, because they're made to stand under cakes or whatever. All right, so now I'm just going through and I'm gluing things down here. And fussing a little bit, but not too much. The other thing I should tell you here is that this layout is in response to a challenge from the Victoria Marie fall crop, and that was in October. I believe this was Alyssa's challenge to use ephemera on your page. And I love the way this turns out. I think it does a really nice job of just saving all these little pieces that individually aren't much, but together they're wonderful. So I'm going through and I'm just adding more ATG in here and there to get this kind of figured out. And what happened here is I didn't like exactly how that napkin was sitting. So I'm just repositioning it, which is not the easiest thing because it's glued down. And it really holds that glue well. All right. And then here I'm also being careful because it's really easy to rip a doily and I don't want to do that. So now that I have everything glued on top of it, I can glue the doily down because I kind of know where things are going to land. So that, because with a lot of the doilies, depending on what you glue them down with, you can see the adhesive. So I like to glue it under the things that I'm putting on top of it, kind of like you would do if you used vellum. Okay. Now I have these bows from the Paper Studio, and I've had them for a while because they were meant for my second nephew's wedding album, which has been finished for a few months now, and I thought it was time to use them. And I loved the idea of using it on here because it gives it that sweet touch, like sweet wedding sort of touch. And because a lot of the pieces are so big on here, they're not overwhelming the pieces themselves. And then again, that bow is from, actually it's from Recollections. It's not from the Paper Studio, and it's from their Craft It line, paper bows, which was actually a Christmas line, I believe. So good thing I have that done. Now I'm looking at my ephemera here from my mind's eye, and I like that gold 2 there. And I just popped it in the bag, and 2 standing for the, the marriage of the 2 of them. That gold 2 is from my mind's eye, Yes Please, and it's the mix bag, which is their embellishment bag. And then I found that little heart, that green heart with the gold polka dots. I really like that. That one is from my mind's eye, the On Trend mix bag, which again is the ephemera pack. And I'm kind of just playing around with placements here. I know I want something on that left side, but I'm not quite sure what that is. I know I probably want a little bit of a touch of gold, just because there's so much gold in that bow. So that would be helpful. I'm toying with maybe some words or some thickers here. I'm not finding the right word there, but what I do see is this gold heart, and I like that gold heart down there because it's just a really bold gold statement. And then I can maybe use this heart somehow in that bag, and I just think that's kind of a cute idea because it is a bag, so something could go in there. And I'm playing around a little bit with this. And when I put these 2 together, I actually like them together, and they don't work as well together inside the bag. At least I didn't think they did, and it mutes the gold there a little bit. So I am going to take them out and put them together. So that gold heart on the left side of the table card there is from the Amy Tangerine Thickers called Grace. I don't know what collection that came from. I didn't write that down. I've started to do that now. All right, so I really like the way those look. I just like how, even though they're not in the bag, it kind of gives you an idea of something being in the bag. Best way to describe that, I guess. And I'm not going to, this is one of those layouts that I'm not going to do any journaling. I'm not going to put a title on it, none of that, because I don't think it really needs it. I think it speaks for itself. This is obviously from the wedding, from a wedding for sure. And this will go right in the album with the pieces. And normally I date things, but I didn't really even need to do that either, because the order of the evening has the wedding date on it and their names again. All right, so I'm kind of looking to see if there's anything else, maybe like a gold word strip or something. It's not that I think it's incomplete, because I actually like the way this looks, but I'm just toying. I think I want something right there next to the heart to sort of decorate that bottom edge. I'm playing with the idea of maybe some washi tape. And then I go back in, and this is the Yes Please mixed bag here. Yes, the same place that the two came from. And I was looking at the back to see what pieces were there, which is kind of an interesting way to do this. It would have been just easier if I dumped it out, but that sometimes happens. And I saw this little banner, and I guess I said I wasn't going to do any journaling. That's not really true. I did write just a tiny little thing here as a descriptor. And I like how that just lays down there. And it does a nice job of bringing the gold back in, but also a little bit of white at the bottom. And then that green piece of paper doesn't end so abruptly. I just thought that it needed to be softened a little bit somehow. Brings the white back in from the doily and all the stuff at the top too. So I'm just playing around here a little bit. And now I know I want to use a gold pen on that, just because I didn't want to journal in black. I didn't want to call the attention away from any of the black writing. So I'm using a gold Uniball Signo pen there. And all I'm doing is just writing out their names and then dinner and reception. Because that's what this was all about, was the dinner and reception. So hope you guys are all well. There's a still shot and a couple of detail shots. I'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye.